This Week in Startups is brought to you by Cisco Spark. Get video meetings, team messaging, digital whiteboarding, file sharing, and calling all in one secure app. Visit ciscospark.com to learn more and sign up for free.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of This Week in Startups. It's time for another edition of the Syndicate. What is the Syndicate? 7 companies are going to present for 3 minutes each and then take questions from a live audience of 20 of the most important early stage investors in the world. We're taping live in San Francisco. Our first company is RecoverX. Alex, are you ready? Yes. Then pick up the microphone. We'll put 3 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, go.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Aguiar and I'm the co-founder and CEO of RecoverX. And what our mission is to revolutionize injury recovery. So many of us have had an injury before at some point in our life, and we've probably looked like these people right here. We have to deal with the melting ice bag, the freezing gel packs, and the big bulky ice water circulation system. The problem with these, they're such a hassle and they're outdated, especially for cold therapy. It's still dependent on ice until now. Introducing the world's first smartphone-controlled electric cold and hot therapy device. Simply connect over Bluetooth, choose cold or hot therapy, then select the exact temperature and duration, and the device will automatically get to that temperature in under 30 seconds without any ice or water. Not only that, we're the only device that can do cycle, which is contrast therapy, alternating between cold and hot, and simply just push the cycle program and it automatically does that. Also, since we're connected by a smartphone, we're able to track every single device usage, so we can share that back to physical therapists, athletic trainers, eventually insurance companies to track for accountability and compliance. Not only that, but we have a rechargeable battery, which means that users can use this anytime and anywhere that they want. We're looking to sell this device around $200 to $250. Right now it is targeted for the knee, but taking those modules, we can easily have a product line targeting multiple body parts, just putting our modules on a different strap system. We finished the Highway 1 hardware accelerator where we launched a consumer beta. It went great. The best user study was a guy named Michael. He was 3 months post ACL. He's using a product called Game Ready, which is a big ice water circulation system. Cost $2,500. Insurance was paying $250 every 2 weeks. He said it was in his car for 3 months and he didn't use it because he doesn't like using the ice and all of that. We were able to track his device usage and he used our device 9 times that week. We are now gearing up to build 100 units. We've already been invested and partnered with the 49ers, and every single team that you see on here is already committed to test 5 to 10 devices. We already have multiple PTs and other consumers as well. In terms of distribution, we don't see us just going B2B, which is a smaller market, targeting athletic training rooms and physical therapists. But the great part about them is they give us brand credibility, not only as a brand, but also around the device. But we want to quickly use that influence to go B2C, targeting millions of people suffering from chronic pain, weekend warriors, so eventually being in Dick's Sporting Goods. In terms of the team that has made this happen, I'm Alex again. My background is in exercise physiology. I was a Division I college athlete. I also played professional soccer, and I was the former assistant director of sports medicine at UC Davis. My co-founder is an engineer. He has a background in electrical and computer science engineering, master's in biomedical engineering from Duke, and has worked at the top medical robotic companies for the past 5 years. Thank you.
Okay. Well done, well done. And here it is. And now we will take 2 or 3 questions from our judges. Okay. State your name.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, how's it going?
Should be on. Give it a shot.
Hi, Alex. Nice to see you again. He came through Sandhill Angels, so I was able to see this. And that's where my question, this is Terry Mead with Sandhill Angels. The product looks a little bit different. Have you revised the product since we saw it, was it sometime last year? It looks a lot more professional.
Yeah.
And then was that one of the outcomes of your experience with Highway 1?
Yeah, Highway 1 was great. We came in with a really early prototype, and now we're at the level where we're gearing up to do, like I said, the 100 units and then go into mass manufacturing. In terms of the product that you saw a couple months ago, we've done a couple iterations, and yes, thank God, it finally looks a lot sexier and cleaner. And like I said, we're building 100 units of those to start testing with those top pro teams already.
Hi, Alex. Great presentation.
Thank you.
I'm Ed Roman, an angel investor here in San Francisco. So is there any opportunity for any kind of recurring revenue, reusable components in this, or is it a one-time sale?
Yeah, so the recurring revenue is the data that we're able to track. A lot of physical therapists, athletic trainers already want to pay a monthly recurring revenue to see whether or not their patients or athletes are doing the recommended treatment. Currently, they give them an ice pack or something. They have no idea if they're doing it at home. Well, until now, we send that back as a dashboard format, and they're able to track their athletes and see whether or not they're doing the recommended treatment.
Great, thank you.
Okay, let's pass the microphone.
Alex, great presentation as well. My name's Asher Leeds. I'm an angel investor from LA. A couple of questions. One is on the revenue side. I know you mentioned about the sale, and then you mentioned briefly in answer that other question about recurring revenue, but you really don't go into, you didn't mention any recurring revenue in your actual presentation. It seems to me that that's really the basis, or it should be the stronger point of what you're doing. It should be selling that recurring revenue model, that all that data that's coming on. So I would think I would ask what you think about that as part of your model. And number two, what about any? Do you need any FDA studies for this, or any kind of any clearance? Or are you going through any? What are you doing on that side?
Yeah. So to the first question about the recurring model, we're still testing with the physical therapist on whether or not they would want to pay per device. So let's say $2 per device per month, or a overarching $50 to track all of them. And also for insurance companies, that's where later on down the road, as our revenue or our data comes more apparent, that's where they are going to come into it. Just like I said, that game ready, they have no idea whether or not they're doing that. So that's something to figure out a little bit more down the road for the insurance. For the FDA, we do have to go through FDA. It's a class 2 device, but we already are going to start that process, and a couple devices in the area have done a 510K exempt, so it's not a very difficult process to go through at all.
Great, let's take a final question, and then we'll go into closed session.
Hey, this is Kevin from Bunders Club. You mentioned that B2C is your largest TAM opportunity.
Yes, sir.
What milestones do you need to reach on your current B2B pilots with the sports teams before you consider going B2C?
So for the B2B, what we're getting at from them is a lot of testing around the product. They're targeting with like the top athletes. So if it works at that level, we can easily use that influence and know that we're building the right product for B2C. It's actually a really quick transition, kind of like a dual threat, so to speak, where we'll sell direct to consumer on e-commerce and use those testimonials to then go through that. So to answer pretty quickly, to try to go in there, and then eventually, as we sell more products, try to get into Dick's Sporting Goods.
Okay, and now we're going to go into closed session. Okay, please welcome our next entrepreneur, Julie Fredrickson from Stowaway. I got it right?
You did, yes.
Okay. I should. I'm an investor. Okay, grab the microphone. Yep. Okay.
All right. Hi, I'm Julie Fredrickson, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Stowaway Cosmetics. So, fun fact, 75% of women don't finish the cosmetics that they purchase. Not just before it expires. Yes, it expires, but at all. And leaving aside the fact that that's wasted money, it's bad for the environment, it weighs down your purse, it happens to reveal a very interesting Achilles heel within the $60 billion US cosmetics industry. And it comes down to the fact that cosmetics are too big. And you think, okay, all right, well, why should I care? Well, if a consumer doesn't finish the product, how do you get them to purchase the product again? Well, the answer is they hire Kylie Jenner and they hire influencers, and everything is very expensive, very risk-driven, and they're constantly coming up with new products. I don't believe in acquiring a customer again and again. I think you should acquire a customer once and make her happy for the rest of her life. So at Stowaway, we're taking on the Achilles heels of that with what we like to call full stack cosmetics. And it's really, from our perspective, the future of cosmetics is predictive data-driven replenishment. We make products that you can finish, and then we take your preferences, all of what you give us, and we deliver you individualized solutions that are based on your schedule. Technically, because some startup said something silly related to this, where they had millions of combinations, we have 3.4 million options of combinations of our products, which isn't necessarily interesting, but I like to, when I'm in Silicon Valley, play the game. So our job is to capture not only your preferences, but deliver you a solution on time at your own pacing. So we're doing that by having rethought everything from the way the products are designed to the way it's sold. And it means that we are taking that Achilles heel and turning it into a strength. Because you should have products that you can finish, and we should know enough about you that you get it when you want it, how you want it, with your preferences baked in. The beauty industry is pretty interesting. You can ask me about it. You're going to definitely want to ask me about the cost structures. And it's a better consumer product, which ultimately is what should really matter. And, well, it turns out everyone in beauty loves it too. And I'm going to let us go before the timer.
Okay, well done. Questions for Julie from Stowaway.
And pause.
Oh, who's got the microphone?
2.5 minutes.
Okay, great. Any questions for Julie? Great.
Hi, Brian Holmes from First Ascent Associates. In your presentation, you mentioned that you're not a brand, but can you tell us more about your kind of marketing strategy and how you plan on getting in front of consumers?
Sure. So technically, we have a brand. The brand is Stowaway, and we have our own proprietary packaging and formulations. We've won lots of exciting awards. And all of you get some lipstick. You get some lipstick. So we are a brand in that we are using the reformulations and repackaging of these products to sell something that is more consumable. And by having a consumable product, we get the data that these CPG companies cannot capitalize on because their Achilles heel is they sell to Sephora and have no way to capture that data. So we actually had to build a brand in order to build what we actually wanted to build, which was a solution that always knew what you wanted and when you wanted it, because that's my e-commerce white whale. That's all I've done for my entire career is try to solve for that.
Hi, I'm Sarah Deshpande from Millhaven Ventures. How do your customers find out about you? And second question, are you creating new products or are you repackaging existing products?
So I love this question. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. That said, all of our formulations are proprietary, but I would say they are heavily influenced by the products that are the best-selling, because everything we do is data-driven. So our blush that is our best-selling blush is... Oh, sorry, guys, this is being recorded, is a dupe of NARS Orgasm. Yes, that's how we name things in cosmetics. Don't ask me why. So we are sourcing our own products, adding tweaks to it, but also saying that this red that I'm wearing right now, which is our Scarlet, is the best-selling red lipstick on the planet. So why not simply leverage that?
And how your customers find out about you?
Yes. Well, turns out when you solve a problem that hundreds of thousands of women have, it's very easy to get press. But my entire background is actually in affiliate and e-commerce marketing, so funnel work is kind of what I do to relax. So I'm not kidding. Don't ask me to futz with your Facebook stuff. I will. My first company that I sold to Sugar Inc. was actually an affiliate marketing company, so I go up and down the stack with that. So we like to prime the funnel with lots of fancy things in Fast Company Interact, and then make sure it just goes right down.
Okay. One more question. We'll take one more quickly.
Hi, this is Ajay Kamat from Pear Ventures. So my question is, how do you actually close the loop on the customer behavior after they purchase and they use it? Why does the sizing matter on if you get the data or not?
If you are not finishing the product, there's no way to ever get additional customer data, right? So the conglomerates are selling you a lipstick, and 7 years later, you're like, oh, it's gone bad, or I haven't actually finished it. With our products, because they are sized to be finished, they're sized to be finished before they expire, you'll actually get to the end of it. And so we know, based on not only when our customers are repurchasing, because we now have enough cohort data, but we also know when the typical replenishment cycle should hit if you're using a product in a certain way. And so we have different psychographics that we know use it in different ways. So we just set up automated reminders. Your lipstick is about to go bad, or you are likely to have finished it, or your mascara is expired. Please buy that mascara. And it works. That closes that loop. And that's actually most of what we're putting our focus on in the future is building out that capability, because we had to build the brand in order to build that.
Okay, great. Big round of applause. And we'll go into closed session. Hey everybody, I'm super excited about our latest partner on This Week in Startups. It's called Cisco Spark. From Cisco, you know Cisco, of course you know Cisco. Cisco Spark is a new meeting platform and a communication platform for teams. And we're using it here at This Week in Startups, and it is life-changing. It can make working together so easy, so pleasant. And in this package, for one low price of free, you get, yes, that's right, free, you get video meetings, team messaging, like chat, you know how that works, digital whiteboarding, I'm going to get into that in a minute, file sharing, and calling. All of this together in one secure app that works on any of your devices, Android, tablet, iPad, iPhone, desktop, you get the idea. And it's the fastest way to host and join meetings, and it works with industry-leading video systems like, yes, the Cisco Spark board. I have the Cisco Spark board, and this is a touch-based, all-in-one device where literally I click and I say, everybody who's in this room, you know, like a chat room, everybody in this Cisco Spark room, I want you to join this video conference. Somebody could be at home, another person could be in a hotel or on the road, on their phone, on the BART. Two people could be in the New York office, two people could be in the San Francisco office. All of a sudden, we're all in one space on the Cisco Spark board with all of our files from that chat room. And we can then pick an image like we did for the launch festival and start drawing on it and saying, hey, let's move these tables here. It is amazing. And the Cisco Spark board comes in 55 inches or 70 inches. It's kind of like an all-in-one touchscreen whiteboard camera with amazing microphones where if you're in the back of the room, it picks you up perfectly. And the video quality, it makes you feel like you're in the same room without having to spend what used to be, I think, $250,000 or $50,000 to outfit a room. You can now do it for low thousands of dollars. It's pretty amazing. I love my Cisco Spark board. And on this very program, This Week in Startups, we're going to start putting Cisco Spark boards in other cities so that entrepreneurs and investors from, say, New York, Los Angeles, maybe London, Berlin, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Seoul, can then video conference into the show, and we can start doing remotes with startups from around the world. How exciting is that? All powered by Cisco Spark and the Cisco Spark board. If you want to see all this exciting stuff and try the software, go to ciscospark.com, ciscospark.com to learn more and sign up for free. Thanks for joining the team, Cisco. Let's get back to this amazing program. Next up is a graduate of the Launch Incubator. Robert Haydock is from Zembula. Let's give him a warm welcome. 3 minutes on the clock, 3 to go.
Thanks. My name is Robert Haydock. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Zembula. We're reveal marketing software. So if you're a marketer, it's really hard to stand out. And that's what we do. You have to do something different to stand out in the marketplace. Marketers right now use a lot of different content. It's images, it's text, it's video, but what we've created is something new. So we had a unique insight. Leverage human psychology to create marketing content that intrigues us at our core. This is an example of a scratch off. The top image is getting scratched off to reveal an image underneath, and then a button will appear in just a second. And that's the call to action to let you know what to do next. It's very intuitive. It's a great experience. It works on both mobile and desktops. We drive high quality engagement. So this is a little over 1 million sessions. We have 99 out of 100 people engaging with it and over 50% clicking the redeem button. This particular campaign is through email because that's where we started, but this shows you how well this performs. Next, we're going to see an example from Bistro MD. This is a customer of ours that does nutrition products. They sell meal planning. They've used us for over 1.5 years. Every time they send out one of our experiences, they see over a 2x increase in revenue. The engagement has remained strong for over 1.5 years. We had a lot of early questions whether this sustained, and what we've proven is that it does. Down below, you can see a quote from her. What I just want to point out is that they've seen the sustained and growing engagement. So what we've been excited to see is that they actually have more people engaging over time with it. Let's look at how this works. This is all about the psychology. There are 2 pieces. There's curiosity and fear of missing out. That's what drives you to interact with it. And then once you interact with it and reveal the image below, it's endowment effect, which is the ownership you take of the message that you receive. And that's what drives the click-through, and that's the redemption. So here are lots of examples of experiences that you've seen and used that use this same psychology. Everything from McDonald's Monopoly to baseball cards to video games. And Minecraft has those chests. So these are all examples where that same psychology is getting repeated. We make it really easy. We have a SaaS platform. You can go check it out on our website, but you log in. It's a WYSIWYG editor. You don't need any technical capabilities to do this. And we provide you with a variety of experiences. So we're creating new types of experiences all the time that all use that same technology. This is an example of some of our customers. They're very diverse, everything from American Chemical Society to Adorama to Fossil to Marriott. Thanks. Let us know if you have any questions.
Okay, well done. Questions from our audience? Okay. And maybe you could talk a little bit about revenue and the number of employees, either now or in the closed session.
I'll do that in the closed session.
Great.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ed Roman. I'm an angel investor based in San Francisco. Great presentation. Thanks for that. What's your long-term vision beyond what you're doing today? How does this grow to become a very large company?
So we see a new form of content that has to come in the interactive form. And we've gone through text and images to video and what's after video. And so what we need is something very repeatable. And what we see in Reveal is the ability to make something repeatable and automated. So our long-term vision is to use that psychology and just keep expanding new experiences.
Great, thanks.
Great. Okay, we had another question.
Hey, Robert. This is Kevin from Funders Club. I'd be curious if you could discuss some of the, when you're thinking about long-term defensibility in this space, the technology alone may not carry it. So are you collecting proprietary data in the way people are scratching? Or?
Yeah, so we do collect all the data around the experience and how people use it. And then we also have a whole side of our platform that automatically does odds and personalization so that we can really target individuals so that they're not all seeing the same experience. On the flip side, we also have patents filed and are close to getting one on the actual reveal and the action buttons that pop up.
Hi, I'm Clara with the Urban Innovation Fund based here in San Francisco. I was really interested in your comment about psychology and beyond sort of the initial zazzle of a sort of reveal from a scratch off. Can you talk a little bit more about how you think about incorporating creative strategies around psychology to keep people engaged over time?
So like any new market you create, there's a whole lot of creative that has to happen on either the customer side or our side, coming up with unique ways to get people to reveal. You've seen video go from like the standard format to now used on Facebook where it's silent and all the different ways they get you to engage. So we're following that same path. So there's a lot of experimentation, a lot of data that we're collecting, and then we share those experiences with our customers.
Okay, any more questions? Great, let's go to closed session. So please welcome our next entrepreneur, Kelsey Dory of Vow To Be Chic. Three minutes on the clock, 3, 2, go.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey Dory, founder and CEO of Vow To Be Chic. We are the first and only company to rent designer bridesmaids dresses. So I have been a bridesmaid 8 times in my life. I realized that men have had this option to rent suits and tuxes seemingly forever, basically for decades, and women haven't had a similar opportunity. So I dug in. Men's Warehouse has the largest share of market, and they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and there's no one doing it on the women's side. I also worked at Rent the Runway early on and learned a ton about dress rental, which I now use. So if we look at the consumer landscape, access is really the new ownership. 78% of people choose experiences over things, right? We're seeing this shift from traditional brick and mortar over to e-com, and now we're really seeing the rise of the sharing economy. We're working out of WeWork offices like this. We're lifting to work. We're using this rental and shared economy in many aspects of our lives, but it hasn't really touched the retail industry. Men have had the option, as I mentioned, but women really haven't until very recently. For us, when we were looking at the retail industry, a great place to start on the women's side was bridesmaids dresses. It's a huge pain point that most women know. There's movies made about it. To be frank, it sucks to be a bridesmaid. It's really expensive. It's inconvenient. You spend tons of money on this dress that you wear once, literally for a few hours, and you never wear it again. So $2.6 billion spent in the US every year on bridesmaids dresses, most of that wasted. By renting designer, the bridesmaids get to save money, on average $200 on dresses like that you see here, and the brides get a beautiful dress, so it's a win-win. Favorable unit economics, of course, with the rental model because we're re-wearing dresses. Our gross profit is about 54% and 62% for the gross margin and 54% for the contribution profit. One of the great things for us, of course, of re-wearing the dresses is we have just hit profitability on each dress on average. So we currently own about 10,000 units. Our break even is 1.9 wears per dress. On average, all of our dresses have been worn over 2 times. So we're very excited about that fact. The great thing there is then our revenue and our inventory costs are diverging. So instead of purchasing a dress for every new order, we're purchasing 1 unit for about every 2.5 orders. We also have a great thing because we're in the bridal industry of this lag time where we have a cash flow float because the customers typically come in, pay in full 6 months before the event. We don't have to pay for the dress until 5 months later if we even have to purchase that new unit. So we've got a cash flow float and we get to build our inventory based on actual customer demand. So we don't purchase a unit until we have a fully paid customer order. We also have efficient acquisition because it's groups. We acquire 1 bride and she brings in an average of 5 bridesmaids. Some of our barriers to entry, the biggest one, we have rental exclusivity with our designers. So we are the only ones who can rent their dresses, and we also have figured out rental and the complexities. What we really want to do, the big vision, is creating the rental platform for the shared economy, so helping the retail industry enter the millennial shared economy. That's it. Thank you.
That was an exceptional presentation. Well done.
Thank you.
That was a great presentation. I'm Cyan from Founders Fund. What kind of company do you want to be in 8 years?
So for me, it's really looking at the consumer trends and really how we're all moving to that shared economy and how it really hasn't come to the retail industry. So we've actually met with a lot of the big retailers who are trying to figure out, I'm sure you all know the retail crisis these days, how can we help them get millennials, get more tech friendly, drive people in stores, more experience focused, and rental is really a way that they're seeing to do that. So for us, if we can help build a platform, if you can rent a chiffon dress, you can rent pretty much anything else. It's a lot easier. So I would love to be able to be helping the entire retail industry enter the rental shared economy.
Okay, another question.
This is Terry Mead with Sandhill Angels. What about tailoring? Because a lot of those dresses you order, you really need to have them tailored each and every time.
Yeah, so this is where I have an MBA and we focus on kind of the data side of the fashion industry. We built a sizing algorithm. So we have hundreds of thousands of data points right now. We have 95% accuracy if you tell us your sizing for any style that you pick on our site, that you'll fit well into it. So each girl gets 2 sizes 2 weeks before the wedding.
Great, let's take another question or 2.
Hi, this is Sarah Deshpande from Millhaven Ventures. Can you talk a little bit about the economics of it? I have to imagine that it's still a relatively high price point, but it's less than people are spending today. But if you could tell us a little bit about the economics of an entire bridal party and an individual bridesmaid.
Sure, yeah. So on an individual customer, they're coming in, the dress is about $300 to purchase. Typically you're spending about $100 to alter it. We rent for under $100. So each bridesmaid is saving about $200. So that's kind of the consumer side. We're also, the dresses retail for $300. We purchase it at wholesale. We typically get a 20% bulk discount. So we're paying about $120 for the dress, hence the 1.9 fully loaded break even. And then in terms of the full bridal party, I can take you back to we acquire 1 bride and then she brings in the bridal party. So each girl's spending about $110, $120 all in with shipping. So it's bringing about $635 in lifetime revenue for XLTV to CAC.
Hi, this is Clara with the Urban Innovation Fund. I'm curious, can you talk a little bit more, kind of building on Sarah's last comment about your facilities? Where are these dresses housed? How are they distributed? What does that sort of back-end process look like?
Yeah, so our dresses are in Hawthorne, California, right next to SpaceX. We now have 10,000 of them, which is fun and crazy, and we've built out the reverse logistics. So part of that is part of our secret sauce of having figured out, not many people have rented in the retail industry before, so figuring out how you do the reverse logistics on the operations side. At the heart of it, we are an operations and supply chain business, right? This is an operations logistics challenge of how we ship an item, we get 100% return rate, or we want 100% return rate. So the dresses are in Hawthorne, and we've built out the warehouse, and we've built out the team. And I was at Rent the Runway in the very early days, so probably about month 3 in the operations, so in the actual warehouse there, so learned a lot about dress rental there. kind of applied a lot of that.
One more question right to your left, Clara. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Kelsey. Can you hear me? This is Lauren Colladney from Mass Effect Ventures. We've met previously. Thanks for your presentation. I'm just curious, kind of building off some of the other conversation, this slide appears interesting because in this industry, actual lifetime is relatively short, and yet you have the potential to sort of incent virality given, the brides can convert to bridesmaids and vice versa. How do you do that, and how do you incent that behavior?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the great things is I joke, I think we've all probably experienced this wedding decade of your life where you're constantly in weddings, attending weddings, having a wedding. It just never seems to end. My 8th time is this summer and half my friends aren't married yet. So you kind of get in that process. And I think for us, when it comes and the bridesmaids say, oh wait, I can save $200 on this dress I'm never gonna wear again. And then the bride says, oh wait, I can put them in a Monique Lhuillier dress that they can actually afford. It's a win-win on both sides. And so we just see that natural repeat rate of girls coming in and repeating multiple times. We did a quick study and 70% of our customers have referred us to 1 or more friends and 20% have referred us to 5 or more friends. So most of our growth is organic, word of mouth virality.
Okay, well done. Let's do a big round of applause. And let's go into closed session and talk about the deal. All right, next up is Dr. Arup Roy Berman, and he is from Elemeno Health. Big round of applause. 3 minutes on the clock, 3, 2, go.
Thanks, Jason. So I've been practicing critical care for 20 years. And over that time, I've had a chance to see how healthcare complexity has overwhelmed our staff. We've created a B2B SaaS solution to be able to engage frontline nurses and docs in best practices and make practices safer. So let me tell you a story from my days as ICU medical director at UCSF. Here's baby M. 10 years ago, this girl would not survive. But today, thanks to the complexities of care, the lines, the tubes, the devices, the surgeries, she has a fighting chance. But that complexity also brings risk. Our frontline staff are overwhelmed. This is too much for them to be able to master. The result is inconsistencies. Medical errors are the #3 cause of death in the United States. They're costing us hundreds of billions of dollars annually, and sadly, they're preventable. Let's look at one error alone. If staff screw up the care of that line that baby M has, she has a 1 in 5 chance of dying. Those are 40,000 of these such infections every year. It's huge, one error. Now let's meet Asunta. Asunta is one of the best nurses at UCSF, one of baby M's nurses, a rock star. She'll be the first to tell you, I can't master this, I can't stay on top of it. So when she needs help just in time to refresh, what does she have? She's got these policies and procedures. Who can read that? They try to simplify it, still indigestible. So we want to make it easy. Make it simple, accessible on any device. Go in there, click. For your group, you find the best practices. That flow diagram, now walk through it simply, getting to your decision, giving you actionable knowledge just in time. Those central lines, you can walk through a standardized checklist, and in this checklist, you learn as you go. If you don't understand something, click on it. You get information in your own privacy, no embarrassment. How about it's more than compliance? Let's drive fidelity. How to do it. Take that rock star nurse who does this better than anybody, scale her knowledge 24/7. See it right, do it right every time. We drive this through social levers of gamification and recognition. And it works. We're a startup with published peer-reviewed results. Came out in AJMQ. We were able to cut line infections in half, save $1 million with a 10x ROI. We took this for another hospital-acquired infection, C. diff, cut it 85% in the ICU. We're the doctor and the gamer. We know healthcare and we know engagement. We start in the hospitals, $50 billion with these mistakes. We go outpatient with our 4th customer, paying customer this summer, and then we create a shared marketplace for all. So join us, and together we can make a difference as a team.
Okay, well done. Big round of applause. Questions? Great. You two guys can go, yeah.
Hi, that was a great presentation. Jed Katz from Javelin Venture Partners.
Thanks.
Talk to me about this sales process to the hospitals. How do you get them to spend time and hear your pitch, and what's the decision process like?
Sure. So if we're looking at what I was outlining in this slide, these kind of core group of medical errors, these are already penalized by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and they're tied to huge penalties. 25% of hospitals lost $700 million for low performance on of these. So these are publicly reported outcomes that we can find. So I can go to your hospital, hey, you guys are not doing well on this. We have a solution with a proof point of publication.
Quick follow-up. Who are you actually selling to? Who are you having that meeting with?
So that's going to the clinical side of the C-suite. Most typically, it's the chief nursing officer and or the chief quality officer. You really look at us as a tool for the front lines. Traditionally, digital health is look at the dyad of doctor and patient. They've forgotten that there's 3 million nurses and 1 million plus ancillary staff that need help. That's where the CNO comes in.
Kirby Harris, Base Ventures. Who's developing the content? Are you scraping content from medical journals, or is it peer-to-peer content?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you look at these bundles, if you will, there are best practices that exist, but even the consultants tell you the hardest thing is how do I actually deliver that to the staff around the clock? And that's what we have the solution for. So this is publicly available knowledge that we are able to take our subject matter experts to give you a ready-to-use template. But when it goes to your hospital, your teams can look at it, say, this is how we tweak it for our house. We configure that, and away you go. So rather than having people start from 0 and get to 1, we give them 1 and let them to build it up.
Great. Any other questions? Great. Ed, you're next.
Meredith Finn with Salesforce Ventures. Curious, in those sort of early paying customers you have, what you're seeing in terms of actual engagement from the frontline nurses and physicians, as obviously a great product, but you're expecting a behavioral change there, and so wondering what you're seeing in terms of early engagement.
Yeah. So what the nice thing is here, that although I see us downstream as being something that can have daily average usage, right now when we go after these pain points, for example, when we cut down line infections. We had 2 major campaigns over the course of the year driven by gamification. That's when we had our spikes in users hitting more than 50% of the nurses. In between, it's much lower. But the point is we changed the outcome on something that saves lives and saves money. So we're able to take each practice one by one, and as more content comes in, we reach towards that DAU.
Great. Who's got a question over here who hasn't asked? Anybody have a next question? Okay, great. Ed.
I'm Ed Roman. I'm an angel investor in San Francisco. Thanks for the presentation. It was great. Tell me more a little bit about how you charge for this, the average contract value, and also tell me about how that relates to the depth of the pain that you're solving and the cost of that pain.
Sure. So if we look at central lines, this is $1.8 billion in costs. Each infection costs $45,000 for an adult, $69,000 for a kid. So if we go to a hospital and say, just on that problem alone, we want to save it, if we are able to cut 2 infections, that can pay more or less what we're asking for a hospital contract right now, about $100K. So when we look at on a per user basis, every hospital right now calls their staff in for a useless staff meeting once a month, costing them about $50 per person. We see that value. Instead of training disconnected at the staff meeting from action, we're giving you stuff accessible 24/7. That said, our first LOIs and first sales were sold at $20 per user per month. We have contracts out right now that they're being considered at about $40 per user per month. So we're working our way up to that price.
Okay. Let's go into closed session. Last but not least, in the random drawing for the order, hopefully it was random. I hope it's random. Is the person who would not stop DMing me. Sliding into my DMs. Well played. Well played. I just, sometimes you get this DMs and you get these tweets and it just kept coming and I was like, I'm not sure about this idea. And then I looked at it and I was like, well, I want to buy it, but I'm not sure about it, but I want to buy it. So I want to own it, but I don't know who you are, where you're from, but I want to buy your product. So welcome to Silicon Valley. You're not from here.
Also, no, we're from Louisville. I'm originally from Nigeria.
Okay.
Actually, small story, the way I got finished.
You got to use your microphone.
Quick story, the way I went through school was I just sat in class without paying tuition, and instead of the school kicking me out, they said, okay, this guy wants to learn so much, has a lot of drive, we're going to pay his tuition, and that's that. So
that's a great story.
That's how we do it.
So now it's all making sense now. It's all making sense. I'm definitely investing in this company. Okay. All right, 3 minutes on the clock. Let me just make sure I pronounce your name correctly. It's Kella or Kella?
Kella.
Kella?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then pronounce your last name. It's
Ivanye.
Ivanye. Okay, please welcome Kella Ivanye from Millhaven. Round of applause. 3 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kella Ivanye. I'm the CEO and founder at Millhaven. At Millhaven, we're solving the problem of misdeliveries and stolen packages. Now, just last year, there were 2 billion misdeliveries that happened in North America. Even worse, 11 million people reported having their packages stolen. Now, I'm sure a majority of you here have had a situation like that, and I had a situation like that, and that's why we set out to solve this problem. So meet Millhaven. Our first solution is a mobile app that allows you to track all your packages across all couriers and all retailers, alerting you when to be available to receive your packages. However, we know that that might not suffice because people have very busy schedules, and that's where our flagship product comes in. It's the Haven hardware. It's an automated reception device that is capable of receiving packages on behalf of absent homeowners. It's solar powered, 3G enabled, and has an embedded barcode scanner. And the way it works, it's simple. So you start shopping, and we pass through an email, or you add that tracking number to our email app. We know when your delivery is coming, and we alert the Haven. The Haven is expecting it. Whenever a courier comes, they scan the tracking code of the package on the Haven. It authenticates it and alerts the homeowner, you've got mail. They can then come home and then open up their Haven to receive their packages. So while we were building it, something that we noticed is that aesthetics is a big issue for people. And so we built this to fit different landscape and to be able to be customizable, whether to fit the modern or a traditional home. So the homeowners that we're targeting are people who shop online and receive at least 6 packages a month, spend at least $1,730 online, and have a home value of over $200,000. So what that gives for us is an initial addressable market of $5.9 billion. So we built a team with specialists in the area of hyperlocal logistics, in building consumer goods, and also in data science. I started my first venture in logistics at the age of 15 in Nigeria. So over the past few months, we have developed several partnerships with several retailers as well as design partners who have also invested in us. And we've gotten a partnership with the city of Louisville who are working with us with a large courier to launch a 30 to 50 unit pilot within the next few months. So, and the way we make money is, so we sell the Millhaven unit for a very small amount, and then we then charge a hardware as a service fee annually, but then we are also able to monetize the data that we get from our users. So whether you're that shopping data, we're able to monetize that. So over the past few months, we've gone through the Highway 1 Accelerator. We've had 250 people download our app. We've tracked 700 packages, and we've received 250 packages in actual Millhaven units. We're seeing everything that's happening in industry. E-commerce is growing. We're seeing land drones. We actually optimize your operation by with cross-docking techniques. We're seeing Walmart kiosks and automated kiosks that are happening, and also online grocery delivery. We're able to cut down their cost by 45 to 55%. So come talk to us, and let's build the infrastructure for the future of delivery. Thank you.
Well done. Who has a question? All right.
Hey, great presentation. I'm Ed Roman. I'm an angel investor. So question on how the logistics work on the delivery. So if I'm delivering a package to one of your units and that package requires a signature, can I still deliver that to the unit? And also, like once the package is delivered, is there a way is it the consumer that's receiving this, or is it a business that's generally receiving?
So it's the consumer, the homeowner that is receiving it. So with packages right now, so further integration with the couriers, which is through the pilots that we're having, we will then be able to give an electronic signature. But currently, you can actually waive the rights to have an electronic signature if you have this device, because you know you're not going to be at home, and so that works that way.
Great. And is your go-to-market to partner with the carriers, or is it to do direct-to-consumer promotion for the device?
So it's direct-to-consumer promotion, and we're also trying to work with the couriers for them to increase adoption, as well as retailers, because they actually benefit a whole lot from consumer adoption.
Great. And then last question is, does it require any retraining or education on the couriers to know how to operate with your devices?
Hardly any. So through our pilot program, it's an average of 2 visits for the courier to actually know it. So we give instructions in the homeowner's house and instructions on the unit. After the first 2 visits, the couriers usually know it. And it's usually 1 or 2 couriers that are assigned to a zone or a district.
Thank you.
Okay. And you can pass the microphone after you ask.
Hi, great presentation. Asher Leeds, angel investor from LA. On the monetization side, I guess I wasn't sure, is it the consumer that you're charging this to, or the business, or who's?
Yeah, so it's the consumer that we're charging this to. So we're targeting professionals, so people who the value of the value of your time is really high. You don't want to spend that time going to the post office. I know you saw we said 6 packages, so 1 in 5 packages are missed. So we're saving you 1 trip to the post office. So those are who we're charging.
And my other question with the drone integrations, how are you dealing with like delivery drones from air and anything like that?
So right now we're looking to experiment on that. But what it is, the way our device opens in a way where it gives a landing dock where a drone can land and just put it on there.
Hi, Sarah Deshpande from Millhaven Ventures. Building and launching and distributing a hardware product is a pretty expensive, intense way to solve this problem. I'm sure you thought of a ton of other stuff. I'm curious how you came to the decision it had to be a hardware, software product, and if you tried other solutions that brought you to making that decision.
So we had looked into other solutions that were out there, but there's nothing necessarily that assures you safety. So a consumer wants to know that, hey, this is pretty safe. There are some other solutions that have been out there, but they're mostly flimsy, and that's the issue that consumers have. They want it at their home. They want convenience. So if you live in a suburban area, you don't want to drive to an access point or to some other way to go get it. What consumers want is they want it right in your house. That convenience is really the play for us. That's why that's why we are building a hardware that lies in your house, and then you can work that way. And we already have distribution partners that have distribution centers in everywhere there's an Amazon distribution center.
Okay, 2 more questions on the other side. I'll run the microphone.
Hi, Kirby Harris from Base Ventures. On the size of deliveries, what is your research show about how big a package is versus how big your receptacle is?
That's a great question. So 95% of every package is fit our unit, right? So USPS did that work already for us, and USPS has something that's about 25% smaller than ours, and that fits about 90 to 92% of all packages that are shipped.
I have 2 questions. I'll piggyback back on that one. We saw a similar product, I think, at launch, and so familiar with the space a little bit.
All right.
But so a single package will fit into there. But if there are multiple shipments, because I've seen what's outside my neighbors, and I know that they won't fit into that size. And then how does the delivery person, what's the indicator other than if it's obvious that that's where it's supposed to go versus on the front step or a missed, especially if somebody decides to put it outside of view over to the side, how is there an indicator that they need to go look for your unit versus having it right out in front?
Awesome. So that's a great question. So like the instructions that we've been testing out tells you at the door. So it's put at the door, and it tells you this is where the package is. It also has a picture of where your unit is in your house relative to your house. So that easily lets you know, hey, when you go to the door to make that delivery, just go over there. And if you've done that once or twice, you already know.
And then multiple shifts. So if you've got more than one thing that will fit into it, then what?
So we say that we can't guarantee that all the packages will fit, but we guarantee that a certain amount of packages will fit. We're looking to other things that we can do, whether it's once we know the weight and size, arranging for like on-demand delivery of it. Not ourselves, but working with vendors who are doing it, where it's shipped to their own hardware, shipped to their center, and then you can pick it up. Someone can deliver it from them. But there are various things around that we're looking at.
Okay. So let's go into closed session. Big round of applause. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for tuning into the Syndicate. We're doing this 10 times a year here in Silicon Valley. If you've got a great company and you want to raise a bunch of money from the greatest investors in the entire world, go to thisweekinstartups.com and apply. You'll see a link there for the Syndicate. And thanks so much to our friends at Cisco for allowing us to use the magnificent, the amazing, the elegant Spark board. It's an amazing product, and we really appreciate your support for This Week in Startups. To all the angels and early stage investors who came, how many people think they'll take a follow-up meeting? Raise your hand if you think you'll take a follow-up meeting based on what you saw today. Wow, it's almost 100%. Incredible. Okay, so we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.